Okay, we're going to do a quick narration on the PA Industries touchscreen for our servo feeds. Upon power up of the screen, this first screen shows the program that's in there and what version it's running. And then obviously you touch the screen anywhere and it comes to this screen, which gives us three options. We have files, this is for selecting language, and tools parameters. Here in the language selection, this first screen shows 9 options with an additional 5, and we'll go back and select English. And then from here we've got a choice of either files or folders or tools. Let's take a look at the tools screen first. The priority is giving us 2 choices, PBF, which means press before feed. And what that means is when I press the cycle start and put it in auto, it's going to wait for the press to make 1 cycle, and then it will start feeding after that. In the optional mode of FBP is feed before press. That means when I hit cycle start, it's going to initiate a first move, and then the press will start. This is the better selection for most jobs. Feed direction is self-explanatory. I could either push the material or pull it. Debounce is a parameter used for the signal coming from the press. If it's a solid state signal, a debounce of 1 is good. If you're using mechanical relays with bouncing contacts, a value of probably around 5 would be a better selection. Scale is a parameter of encoder counts per inch of travel in the feeder. That just adjusts the drivetrain for whatever we may have it set up for. In position is a value of as the feeder approaches its target position. When we get within 20 thousandths, it allows the control to think about the next move, and it just speeds up our processing time. Move profile, the factory default is linear. As an option is S-curve, which softens the start on a high acceleration move to improve accuracy. Max length is self-explanatory. It's to prevent you from putting a 200-inch length in when you wanted to put a 2-inch length in by getting the decimal point wrong. So this setting, should you want to run a length longer than 30, you'd have to change that value prior to being able to enter that value higher than 30. In this case, we've taken it to 40, or the factory setting is 20 is what it comes with. Length adjust. What that's used for is, I'll show you later, when the press is running and we're actually running material through the die in auto mode, it allows us to change the feed length on the fly while it's running. And we're just saying a step distance of 1,000th per arrow adjustment. And that's a changeable value. Jog speed is self-explanatory, along with acceleration, deceleration. Backup length is used for a cut the length line where you didn't want the material to have the blade drag across the material on the upstroke of the cutoff shear. What it does is it allows the material to back up as the blade comes back up, and then the next forward move would be whatever we programmed for back length plus the feed length. P gain, KP, and I gain are just motor settings, along with FF, KFF, and current limits and bandwidth. We're also equipped with a password setting that allows you to keep people who are unauthorized to access these parameters. Currently we're in the off position, so if we activate it, it would mean that to access these parameters, you would need to enter a password, in this case 5 ones, which is the factory default setting, to access these. In the off position, there's no password needed to access them. Measuring wheel is if you should order the optional rotary strip encoder, which follows the material. It has 2 modes. Verification means that it's checking the move to see that it moved the right amount, or you could use it in control mode, which uses the material position on the strip encoder wheel for actually positioning the material. In the verification mode, you can set what check value you're willing to accept, and then this is where you enter the encoder scaling for that wheel. So that's it for the setup parameters. We'll go back to the home screen. Now let's take a quick look at the file screen. From file screen, you've got two options, activate or edit. If there's already a tool programmed in here that you want to run, we would just go to the activate screen, select which program you want to run, and then this activates it. Now we're ready to run that job. Hit cycle start and off and running. Again, we've got a feed length programmed in here of 4" 625. Now if we've got a new tool and we want to create a new job number, we go to edit. We'd select one of the unnamed files. We would write to that file and then enter the appropriate values. First we'd name the program. In this case it's we'll just call it program 3. Again, it's alphanumeric. And there we've got program 3 in there. We would enter what feed length we want to run this job at, like 3" 875. The speed we want to run at, 40 inches per second. The default XLD cell is 400. That's generally a good setting. If we were using the cut output in here, we would probably want to enter a dwell value. If we're not using the cut output, that should stay at 0. Now you've got to keep in mind that there's 3 storage areas for a program. One is the edit mode, which we're in right now. If I would leave this screen, I've saved it to nowhere. If I want to run this program, I first have to save it back to the memory, and then I would have to activate it from memory, but I can do it right from this screen. So we've just activated program number 3. And now if I go back, oh, I needed my password. Let's go back there. Program 3. It's activated again. Nope. There it is. Now if we go to the home screen, there's our new value, 3" 875, and I'm ready to go. My batch count I can reset to 0, and I could set a batch here with this parameter. So now if I go to auto and I start running, you'll see it'll count down from 20 and then drop out of auto once it reaches its count of 20. If I select 0 for that value, it goes to unlimited run, and then I'll show you one more parameter, which is the micro adjust. If I touch the length while in auto, it gives me length micro adjust capability. And as we programmed earlier, 1/1000th per change, so I can increase or decrease my feed length while it's running. I could exit that. If I just want to change my length, I take the feeder out of auto, touch the length value, and I can enter a new value in like that.